Hey guys, it's Toby Morrison here, and welcome to today's video where we are going to talk about grief. And we're going to talk about a really cool success story about someone who was able to let go of a ton of grief and basically live her life now. And I think one of the biggest problems that I see with people who are going through chronic fatigue syndrome or chronic illness or anything really hard is that they get so bogged down in the current reality and the past reality of what was, and they almost get stuck there. And there's a commonality that I see with people who start to get better and really improve their life is that they actually stop focusing on what they used to be like, what they were, what they wish they were right now, and then what they can't do, and then they switch their focus and they start to focus on everything they can do, and things just get a hell of a lot better. So if you're watching this live right now, feel free to say hello in the chat box. Let me know where you're coming from. Would love to see you here. And saying hello. But let's get into the training, because I think this is just a really damn important conversation to have. And we, every single month inside our mentorship program, we run a thing called the game plan session. And we basically hand select a few members that we think are ready for kind of a conversation around what's been, and we do a little review of what they've done so far with the work that we're doing with them, and then we kind of set the goals moving forwards, and we kind of look at the next level for them, what's next, what's coming up for them. And so we ran that last night, and it was amazing. We had one member who, when she joined the program, she was really struggling. Lots of anger, lots of frustration, lots of anxiety, and she was even unsure about joining the program. She was like questioning whether or not she should do it or stay in it. And anyway, 6 months later, we had a game plan session together, and she is just looking so much better, healthier in her face. You can see in her complexion, her skin, how much better she's doing. Her energy is better. Her presence is better. And you could just tell from the way that she was speaking how she was feeling. And I said to her, and I'm so glad she noticed this within herself, she goes, "I'm feeling so different." And I said, "What's been the change? It looks like you've had a big breakthrough lately." And she said to me, "I finally let go of the grief, and I just feel so much better. And I've stopped comparing myself to what I was. I've stopped looking at old photos, wishing my life to be different. And now I'm just here as I am right now, and I'm focusing on that." And just absolutely amazing, like the day and night difference. And little by little becomes a lot. And, one thing for sure is you want to start being a victor, not a victim. And when we're constantly going around in circles and we're spending a lot of time and energy on things that we can't control, and this happens a lot, we lose momentum, and we don't become a victor, we become a victim, and we stay stuck. And so I want to share with you kind of what it looks like just on paper, so you can get a bit of an idea of what this looks like. So you can imagine this is you, and let's say that you're here right now, and things are going pretty well, or you feel motivated, you've watched a few videos, you've been inspired from a success story. And then all of a sudden something happens, or you start to dwell on the past and you start to look at everyone else and you're just not feeling good. And maybe it gets a little bit better, but then still you're kind of just going around in circles, you're feeling sorry for yourself, and there's this guilt, comparison, and almost like shame, and it's heavy and it doesn't feel good at all. And so you can see here that you can imagine that just, every time that you keep going down into this comparison game or wishing things were different or, focusing on everything that you don't have and everything that you've lost or everything that you were and now you're not, all this energy and attention is actually dragging you down. And it's a cycle, and it's a vicious one. And what happens is you become a victim of your past and not a victor of your future. And so we want to change that. We want to start going in the opposite direction. And just like this lady in our program from UK at the moment, she's really gone from down here. Instead, now she's doing this. And she's going in the upwards trajectory. And so what she's really done is she stopped focusing on everything that doesn't work. She stopped focusing on things that she can't control. And she started focusing on what she can do. And her energy's changed. She's feeling like she can do things. She's noticing little wins. She's talking differently. She's showing up for herself differently. And she's becoming a self-leader. And self-leaders, they're not victims. They're not victims, they're victors. And I want to show you, this is a card I picked out for the guys when we were doing the work yesterday in the game plan session, setting their new goals, is we want to magnify what works. Yeah, we want to magnify what works. And you can see there, when we magnify what works, we actually create energy. Yeah. So when we magnify what works, all of a sudden it has a filter effect to the energy that you're coming with. And so you can imagine that downward slope of being in the guilt cycle, being in the grief cycle, focusing all your attention and energy, which is kind of pretty precious, on things that aren't working. And when you start to magnify what is working, energy creates energy. And so I just want you to see that for a moment and imagine in your own life right now, what would it look like if you spent the next 6 to 12 months purely only magnifying and focusing on what is working and building on that, and potentially creating more energy in your life because of the flow-on effect that you're doing right there. Pretty cool, right? So I want you to imagine that you come out of that cycle, and this is why mindset is so important. It's not the be-all and end-all. You definitely need the physical components to do the work and help yourself get better. But ultimately, you can do all that stuff. You can get your nutrition right, you can get your sleep right, you can do all the fancy routine structures, the daily planners, the gratitude list. This is our custom plan for our members. You can do all that. But if you're still focusing on stuff from the past and just dwelling in self-pity and loathe and focusing on everything that you're missing out on and just not being where you're at and focusing on where you're at and building from that, it's very easy to stay stuck. So we want you to get out of that cycle. And this is what we do with our members. This is why our members come and keep coming and showing up for themselves, is because this is what helps them get through and get to that next level. Okay? And so I want you to imagine that, let's share my iPad with you. I want you to imagine right now, let's say this is you here, and let's say there's 3 options, right? There's option 1, and this is just this is just for everybody, right? Option 1 is, just the stuck cycle, yeah? It's the guilt cycle and victim. And so, you can imagine that this is 1 year. So this is 2022 and this is 2023. And by the end of the year, you're just focusing and comparing yourself to other people. You're focusing on weird things that don't help you get better. You're constantly searching outside of yourself, and you're feeling sorry for yourself all the time. And option 1 is that. And by the end of the year, you're probably not feeling much better. You're probably feeling worse because you're looking back going, I haven't done anything and my year's just getting worse. Then, there's option 2, which is, kind of doing the same thing. You're just cruising, not much is changing, but it feels okay. Option 3 is you've got goals and you're working towards them. And, little by little becomes a lot. You're starting to really make a little bit of progress here. And so end of 2023, things have changed. Things have gotten better for you. And if you're finding this video helpful, make sure you please give it a thumbs up, leave some love, and let me know if this is really helpful. And, what happens is, turn into 2023 here, your goals and visions are starting to come to fruition. You're starting to make a little bit of progress. Now, another thing is there's another option, and this is where we call it accelerated progress. And this is pretty cool, and you would have seen this inside our program with lots of our success stories. And accelerated progress is where, imagine if I didn't do the work. Imagine if I wasn't in great proximity with brilliant people. Imagine if I didn't have any accountability. Imagine if I didn't have hours and hours of brilliant content that I can consume at my own pace. Imagine if I didn't have a supportive group or environment that would help me move forwards. And, basically you would probably stay, around here somewhere, right? Around this area here. And what we want is, if we want accelerated progress, we need to surround ourselves and put ourselves in a brilliant environment that's going to allow us to do this. And at the end of 2023, your life can look a lot different than what it did in 2022. But what are you going to do about it? And which type of person would you like to be? Is this serving you? The guilt, the shame, the victimhood? And, if you are in that state, don't worry, it's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of going through this. It's really hard, right? No one's denying that. What you're going through is extremely difficult. But my question to you is this actually, is this serving your greatest good? Is this really helping you get what you want? Or is it still helping you get everything you don't want to focus on that, right? And I'm not saying here to pretend to be positive, right? I'm not saying to think that everything's all good. I'm not saying that it's all in your head. What I'm saying is, being in victim shame and that victimhood and that guilt, it's not allowing you to do the behaviors that are going to be congruent in terms of building health and well-being or building the life of your dreams. What would be more congruent is having a vision, having goals, and having proximity, being surrounded by amazing people who are building you up and showing you a path forward. That will allow you to then do the behaviors that are going to actually build the health and the well-being and the life that you want. And so, which one are you going to choose for yourself? And you can understand that, mindset, it's not about the mindset. The mindset is the key to the ignition to help you go and do the things you need to go and do, right? So, one of the things for our members, especially in our game plan session last night, discipline came up, the word discipline. And you have to be disciplined when you've got to be strict and you're kind of, you haven't been doing the right thing, so you think, I need to be more disciplined. And what if you didn't need discipline, but you were just committed to more fulfillment for yourself? And it came from a place of fulfillment versus a chore or I have to. And when the game changes totally when the vision's different and you're looking forward to something and you're really, moving into it. And it can be super, super powerful. And so my question to you, just quickly before we wrap this up, is which one are you going to choose? Is it going to be accelerated progress? And I'm going to share Petito, one of our members from Mexico, on a game plan session recently. He said, I'm committed to accelerated progress without expectation. And I thought that was just so beautiful. So this is where we want to be. If you're watching this on video, we want to be in this area here, okay? In accelerated progress, goals and vision, so we can have something to move towards. We really just want to get out of this habit of staying down here, okay? This fulfilling negative cycle that just plays on itself, yeah? Because when you're feeling guilt, shame, victimhood, your energy levels are going to go down. You're not going to do any kind of behavior or helpful thing that's going to lift you up, right? It's kind of like a lower level energy. And so remember what I showed you at the start, where we want to start to magnify what's working and remember that energy does create energy. And I want to ask you this question: what would it be like if you started to do this? How might it feel if we came from a place of commitment for fulfillment versus discipline and punishment? And what would it be like if we actually had something to work towards that was going to be really, really useful for us? And to share with you something really, really inspirational, I've got some actual people. I've got some people who have gone through this cycle. They've come from the guilt, shame, and victimhood, and they've come out the other end. And so I want to share with you these people because their story, because it shows you that it's possible to come out of it. And don't beat yourself up if you're there right now. If you're in this guilt, shame, or victimhood cycle, this is just for awareness to help you move forwards. Yeah. So there's no beating yourself up. There's no punishment here. It's just awareness. And I hope this training can help you see maybe a different perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have. And so let me share this amazing video that we put together. You might cry a little bit.
Before joining the program, my biggest challenge was definitely my sleeping, and especially my sleeping pattern. I had no social life, I wasn't going to school.
I had chronic fatigue for about 6 years, from the age of 18 to 24. My biggest challenge before joining the program was I was completely consumed with this fear of doing anything. I was scared it would make me feel worse, and it often did, probably because I was so scared that it would make me feel worse.
So before I joined, I kind of crashed a lot. I went deep when I crashed, analysing the symptoms, going into catastrophe thinking, all those things, which made the burden even harder. Like many of us in this situation, we might not have the biggest income. And I was also worried, was this going to help? Was it just going to be throwing those money out the window?
Life for me was pretty dismal. I couldn't digest food. I could barely walk without collapsing. I spent most of my days in bed or on the couch. Had a difficult time to even read or text.
Then what changed after doing the program was I had a routine. I was able to form good habits. I was waking up early in the morning. I was able to do little things, and I was able to understand my body more and what I needed to do.
The program really gave me the confidence to live life and to not be so structured and rigid. So Toby and the program really gave me that confidence to break free of my fear and my anxiety and to learn to be okay with whatever life threw at me.
I felt like I was kind of hopped on a train, which was like actually going somewhere. Once I just gave myself some time and relaxed into it, and I started to find a structure, and I started to find what my themes are in this program that resonates the most and that I'm most in need of.
I actually found hope and a loving, supportive community of people who would help me reach my goals.
Where am I at now? I'm at uni, I'm finishing off my uni degree soon. I'm back playing sport. This change has made me sort of feel like I'm living a normal life again.
Yeah, so it has been a huge change to have something like this program on my side, this journey of healing and recovery. Yeah, to feel someone is on your team, able to do more, because I also have the more relaxed nervous system, a softer approach towards myself, and I have all these tools in this box that I use.
Now, I went from not being able to walk down the block to now climbing mountains again and hiking long distances. Last month did a 72-mile hike across the High Sierra Trail, which included 2 14,000-foot peaks.
Taking control is the answer. Taking control of your body and not letting the chronic fatigue control you is how you overcome this. And a program like Toby's is taking back that control, putting in place steps and a plan to regain your life in every way.
For me, the great thing about the program was that you're dealing with people who understood the situation you're coming from. You know, it's such a breath of fresh air. They can relate to you. I
am now almost 6 months into the program, and I will continue. It has been a huge support and is a huge support and change for me.
It doesn't matter what pill you take, what course you do, whatever you do, nothing's going to change unless you genuinely want it to and show up and give it all your energy in a time where you don't have the energy for it. It was genuinely life-changing, and I now have my life back because of it.
So, pretty damn inspiring. And what I want to say to you right now is that I know these people deeply. I've been working with them for a long time. Some of them years and years ago, some of them recent. And what I know for sure is these guys were diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, CFS, some fibromyalgia, some other chronic health conditions, loss of sleep problems too. And so everyone was different, everyone is different, but you can see how a lot of these guys were struggling. And I can see people hitting the like button and loving it, which is great. And I hope this motivated you. But I just want to let you know that, Christy, who is a hiker now, couldn't walk basically. Was it overnight? No. Did she take a quick fix pill? No. She did the work and it took time, but it was so worth it because now all that work has paid off to her living a really fulfilled life. And it's just really, really cool to see. So, you take what you need, yeah? But just know that these people are just like you. They're real people. They had real problems. Some of the worst I'd ever seen. And now, they're doing really, really well. And they're living a life that they love. And, you guys, you see the good stuff right now, like you see them happy and living their life, but what they went through was freaking hard. And I saw it firsthand. Some of these guys, like I said, could barely stay awake. Like they were, their immune systems were so shot. Their sleep cycles were totally out of whack. They had no help. They were really, they had that secondary depression where they couldn't, they wished they could live the life they used to live. But their whole focus and energy changed when they enrolled in the program and they started doing the right things at the right time, and they focused. And they really went from victim to victor. Yeah. That's really what they did. And they showed up every single week like this. This is what they did. They showed up every single week being a victor, not a victim. And yes, sometimes they felt like they were a victim. Life's not fair, or, I feel terrible this week, or, why can't someone do this for me, or why did it have to happen to me? But they snapped out of it really fast and they started to focus on this, becoming a victor, not a victim. And again, I know there's going to be people out there who are going to be frustrated by this. It's going to really piss them off, and it's going to make you angry, and you go, yeah, it's so easy for you to say that. It is easy for me to say because I've done the work too. And, you know, these guys have done too. So please, you know, have some compassion for yourself and notice the potential rejection of what you could learn from this. There must be a lesson in there if it's really aggravating you or upsetting you. Potentially maybe there is something to learn from that rather than project it outwardly. And so be kind to yourself. Know that it is hard. It's okay that you're going through this tough time, but also know that it can get better over time. And you know, slowly do the work. There's lots of great resources online these days, and we've got so many great free trainings for you. We'll leave a link below for a couple of really brilliant free trainings that you can watch. If you want to fast track this and accelerate and get the right help and work with us properly, you can enroll in our program just like those guys have. There's no obligation, you don't need to, but if you feel called to and you want accountability, you want weekly coaching, you want daily support, and you want a framework and a proven plan that has been running for over 12 years now, the most comprehensive online recovery program in the world, then apply for the program. There'll be a link there somewhere. You can click on it, you can apply. We do take an intake every single month, but there is usually a waiting list. So the faster you do that, the quicker we'll get back to you and the quicker you can book in your enrollment call and find out all the details. So I hope this video was helpful. Or this episode, wherever you're listening from for this, and rewatch it as many times as you like. And I'll just quickly share with this again. That's where we want to go. Yeah, we want to take this this process and move forwards in 2022 towards 2023. And remember, magnify what's working, which will in turn help you with more energy. All the best for now. Thanks heaps for joining me. And again, if you found this video helpful, leave a comment and a like. Much appreciate your support. All the best for now.